Choosing you is not a sin. Have you ever apologized for taking up space, for having ambitions, for simply existing? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Renee Spurlin, whose revolutionary insights have completely transformed how I view self prioritization. Her perspective isn't just thought provoking, it's life altering. Renee has this remarkable ability to cut through societal expectations with laser precision, revealing truths we've all felt but rarely heard validated. She's changing lives by giving people permission to prioritize themselves without the crushing weight of guilt. In a world that constantly demands sacrifice, especially from women, Renee stands as a beacon of wisdom, showing us that self advocacy isn't just acceptable, it's essential. The guilt is real, isn't it? That nagging voice whispering you're being selfish whenever you dare put yourself first. We've all felt it. That moment when you decline a request and immediately feel compelled to offer a 15-part explanation for why you can't do the thing you don't want to do. I'm so sorry I can't make your Tuesday evening book club. My dog's third cousin, twice removed, is having minor paw surgery. And I promised my neighbor's sister I'd water her cactus while she contemplates whether to buy a new shower curtain. Sound familiar? We've become masters at the apologetic decline, as if saying no is a moral failing requiring elaborate justification. But what if I told you that choosing yourself isn't just acceptable, it's essential? What if prioritizing your well being, your dreams, your boundaries isn't selfish at all, but the most powerful gift you could give, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you? This revelation hit me like a thunderbolt during my conversation with Renee. She articulated something many of us feel but rarely hear validated. Choosing yourself is not a sin. Let that sink in for a moment. Choosing yourself is not a sin. For Black women, especially, this concept can feel revolutionary, even forbidden. We're raised to be the backbone, the support system, the ones who make everything work while asking for nothing in return. The strong ones, the dependable ones, the ones who sacrifice. But at what cost? Consider Renee Elise Goldsberry, the brilliant actress who won a Tony Award for her role as Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton. Behind that success was a woman making deliberate choices to honor both her career and her family. While Broadway demanded grueling schedules, we're talking 8 shows a week, holidays, weekends, the works. Goldsberry set clear boundaries with her time. Imagine the pressure. The Broadway world isn't exactly known for its work life balance. It's a demanding mistress that typically requires total devotion. Add to that the unique challenges facing Black women in theater, the limited roles, the typecasting, the unspoken expectation to be grateful for any opportunity, no matter how stereotypical. The industry essentially pushed her to choose be a mother or be a star, be grateful for any role or risk being labeled difficult, accept the status quo, or be replaced. But Goldsberry refused this false dichotomy. She advocated for complex roles that reflected her range rather than accepting the limited stereotypical parts often offered to Black women. She prioritized both her artistic integrity and her family. The result, not career suicide as many might have predicted, but a Tony Award, a Drama Desk Award, and becoming an inspiration to countless aspiring Black performers. By choosing herself, she didn't diminish her success, she amplified it. And in doing so, she opened doors for more nuanced representation of Black women on stage and screen. This isn't an isolated example. Look at Renee Noe, who built fame by authentically blending modeling with running. In an online world obsessed with filtered perfection, Noe faced immense pressure around appearance and struggled to find confidence in her non traditional career path as a Black woman online. The internet can be brutal, especially to Black women who dare to present themselves authentically. The comments, the unsolicited opinions, the narrow beauty standards, it's enough to make anyone conform just to survive. But rather than bending to expectations, Noe embraced vulnerability. She shared real stories on social media, not just the highlight reel, but the struggles, the doubts, the journey. She set firm boundaries against negative feedback, refusing to let anonymous critics dictate her self worth. She curated empowering content communities where authenticity was celebrated rather than criticized. When criticism came, and it did, in waves, she persisted by centering her self worth above external validation. She chose herself despite the naysayers. The outcome, a supportive digital community celebrating authenticity over perfectionism. Thousands of followers inspired to pursue their own passions boldly, significant influence across platforms while maintaining her mental health through publicly established self care routines. By choosing herself, Noe inspired thousands globally, especially young women, to prioritize their joy over societal approval. Then there's Renee Watson, the award winning author whose work center young Black girls pursuing big dreams amidst adversity. Watson navigated publishing barriers as a woman of color, writing about underrepresented experiences while balancing activism with creative work. The publishing industry told her those stories wouldn't sell, that readers weren't interested in authentic narratives about Black girls choosing themselves, that she should write what's marketable, code for stories that center whiteness, or present Black characters through a lens of trauma rather than triumph. But Watson persisted in telling authentic stories rooted in lived experience rather than market trends or stereotypes. She chose herself and the communities she represents over commercial pressure. The result? Prestigious literary awards, including the Coretta Scott King Award. Readers empowered through relatable protagonists who choose themselves first. National Book Honors, earned while mentoring emerging writers from similar backgrounds. By choosing herself, Watson expanded visibility for diverse narratives within children's literature, encouraging countless youth to see choosing themselves reflected positively in print. These women share a common thread. They dared to prioritize themselves in industries and societies that expected their sacrifice. And in doing so, they didn't just succeed personally, they created ripples that transformed their fields. This brings me to the first crucial takeaway from my conversation with Renee Spurlin. Prioritizing yourself is a form of strength, not selfishness. We've been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves first means taking from others, but that's a false dichotomy. When you choose your well being, your ambitions, your boundaries, you're not diminishing others. You're modeling what healthy self advocacy looks like. You're showing others, especially those who look up to you, that they deserve to prioritize themselves too. Think about it. When you board an airplane, the safety instructions always tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Why? Because you cannot effectively help anyone if you're suffocating. The same principle applies to life. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead effectively while burned out. You cannot inspire authenticity while abandoning your own truth. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sustainable. The second key insight, embracing your multifaceted identity fuels success. Society loves to put us in boxes, especially Black women. You can be strong, but not vulnerable, professional, but not too ambitious, confident, but never intimidating. These false choices force us to fragment ourselves, showing different pieces in different space while never bringing our whole selves anywhere. But what these remarkable women demonstrate is that owning your diverse talents and ambitions, your full complex self empowers you to break stereotypes and open doors for others. Goldsberry didn't choose between being a mother and an actress. She excelled as both. No didn't choose between being a model or an athlete. She redefined what both could mean. Watson didn't choose between being an activist or an author. She became more powerful as both. When you embrace every facet of who you are, you don't just succeed despite your complexity, you succeed because of it. Your unique intersection of identities, experiences, and talents becomes your superpower. And finally, the third crucial lesson: courageously setting boundaries inspires others. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you give permission for someone else to do the same. Every time you unapologetically pursue your dreams, you create a path for others to follow. When Goldsberry advocated for complex roles, she made it easier for the next Black actress to do the same. When No centered her self worth above criticism, she showed her followers they could too. When Watson persisted with stories the industry claimed wouldn't sell, she creates space for more authentic narratives. Your courage creates ripples. Your boundaries become blueprints. Your self advocacy becomes someone else's permission slip. This is particularly powerful within the Black community, where collective advancement often comes through individual courage. When one of us chooses ourselves unapologetically, we create a ripple effect of empowerment. So, where do we go from here? How do we move from inspiration to action? I challenge you today to identify one area where you've been putting everyone else first and take one bold step this week toward choosing yourself instead. Maybe it's setting aside time for that passion project you've been postponing. Maybe it's saying no without the 15-part explanation. Maybe it's pursuing something simply because it brings you joy. Whatever it is, choose it unapologetically. Choose it knowing that your self prioritization isn't selfish, it's necessary. Choose it knowing that when you honor your full, complex self, you create space for others to do the same. Choose it knowing that your courage today becomes someone else's permission tomorrow. As Audre Lorde powerfully stated, caring for myself is not self indulgence, it is self preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. In a world that expects Black women to sacrifice endlessly, choosing yourself becomes a revolutionary act. The insights from my conversation with Renee Spurlin remind us that we don't have to choose between success and self care, between ambition and authenticity, between impact and boundaries. We can choose it all by first choosing ourselves. So I'm asking you, no, I'm challenging you to make a declaration today to stand in your truth and proclaim that your needs matter, your dreams matter, your boundaries matter, you matter. Because every time you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, the world loses something precious, your full, magnificent potential. And we need that potential. We need your voice, your vision, your courage. We need you operating at your highest capacity, not depleted by endless sacrifice. The next time that guilt creeps in when you prioritize your needs, the next time you feel the urge to apologize for taking up space or pursuing your dreams or simply existing fully, I want you to hear my voice echoing in your mind. Choosing you is not a sin, it's a strength. It's a strategy, it's a statement, and it might just be the most powerful choice you ever make, not just for yourself, but for every person watching who needs permission to make that same choice. So choose yourself boldly, unapologetically, consistently. The world doesn't need more martyrs, it needs more whole, thriving individuals showing others what's possible when we dare to put ourselves on our own priority list. Starting today, right now, with one small choice to put yourself first, because choosing you is not a sin, it's your birthright.